the inability or resistance to weight loss might go back a couple generations. And this is really sad. And I think it's something that a lot of us have learned. It's a learned behavior. It's a learned habit. It's a learned mindset. And yeah, I know a lot of you have heard this because our generation, my generation at least, grew up with parents whose parents were part of the Clean Plate Club. I know you've heard of it, and maybe you were in it when you were growing up. But I think this is one of the most detrimental things to the maintaining of a healthy weight or weight loss journey that somebody can be on, is this locked in mindset or this taught mindset that when you sit down for a meal, you are to clean your plate. There is to be nothing left. And I don't know why I got on this morning. I got up to do my workout as I usually do and plug into some personal development, but I just I'm fighting to help some people right now to get going on their weight loss journey. And I'm thinking there are years of built up mental stuff in the way from them getting immediately into this process, right? There are some obstacles there. And what are these mental blocks? And I'm immediately going right into this, that Clean Plate Club thing is just an absolute disaster mentally. So I actually went to the internet and I looked it up. I was like, where did this actually start? Where did this come from? Because it can't just be unique to me. It's got to be something that other folks, families have said to their kids, clean your plate. I mean, even one of the things that we would do was, we had Mickey Mouse plates. And, you would want to be able to see Mickey Mouse by the time you were done with your meal. Otherwise, you had to sit there until you could, that was the thing. So anyway, I got on the internet. I'm looking up where in the world did this ever start or come from? And what I found was, interestingly, even in 1917, it was a concept and an idea by Woodrow Wilson, our president back then, that there was some scarcity in ingredients to make foods. And so the idea was going to be that Congress would pass this food act that, encouraged rations and people to be, finishing all their food and taking real good care not to waste anything and stuff like that. And it was even promoted in schools a little bit to clean all your plate. You're not done eating until your food is gone. We don't waste the scrap, those kind of things. And it was communicated to kids and they were indoctrinated with this idea of cleaning your plate. Well, further on down the line, in the United States history, World War II, times got tough again, Great Depression, these kinds of things. So times were tough, money was tight. And again, the concept came back and they're actually, Truman was the president now. And Truman actually called it in schools the Clean Plate Club. So you could be part of, that group that, you ate your whole plate, no matter, what, if you were hungry or not or whatever, you did it. And, that was a reward. I don't know if they rewarded kids for cleaning it. They got a sticker or something like that. I'm not sure if there was actually rewards, but it's the mental training, right? It was the behavior then. It was the expectation then. It's an expectation to get in line to go to the drinking fountain or go down the hallway to the music class or whatever you did. It was the expectation of behavior at the time. And so it was something that kids grew up doing. Well, guess who those kids were? All right, those kids were my parents, maybe your parents, and their parents' had, grown up in a time and place where expectations were expectations, and when something was told to you in school, you did it, and there was no, questioning that everybody, the school was right, and that's what you did. So the programming of kids then was to clean your plates. This habit is not good. It is not a good habit because it teaches kids to ignore hunger signals or satiety signals. I'm full. I know I'm full. I'm done eating, right? So I understand the concept and not to be wasteful, but there's a different way to approach it. Okay, so there's a different way to approach it, and teaching kids not to take more than they feel like they can handle, or start with a little bit and then ask for more. Now, I get that in a lunchroom, because I used to be a teacher, I get in a lunchroom that is a kind of a disaster just in logistics of having kids like come back for seconds or whatever like that. I get that that's not necessarily feasible, but the concept of pushing kids to clean plates, that is outdated. It is outrageous that you would force kids to overfuel themselves, which is where we got to this place and where we are right now in history of having an epidemic of obesity, even in kids. Okay, so I have to believe, like when I was teaching in physical education, that I partnered up with the nutrition scientists in the school districts and the nutrition department to make sure that kids were locking into good habits and, you know, being mindful of these things. But so I got to believe it's better now than it was, that kids aren't being promoted to, you know, overeat or clean their plate, that their habits are around, you know, eat till you're full, be mindful while you're eating, you know, make sure that you're getting the proper nutrients. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. Maybe your kids are in school and, you know, they're being taught to clean their plates still. I don't know. I'm certainly not going to teach my kids to clean their plates. I'm going to teach them to be mindful when they're full, what to eat, how to properly fuel themselves so that they can grow up to be mindful eaters and not overeaters and not undereaters. I mean, you know, that's the right way to do it. Take what you need. If you need a little bit more and you're still hungry, you can consider why you're feeling that way or what you're feeling about it. Have a little bit more and eat until you feel full. Don't turn those signals off. Don't ignore those signals. That's the right way to do it so that we don't get in a place of overeating, like maybe we did when we were told to clean our plates. It was a habit. And now, I mean, like another point is now foods have so many more additives and things like that are in them that are just making us sick. I mean, they're making us sick as a society because they encourage overeating. They turn off the signals of being full, so people are overeating just on that fact. Yeah, it's a really bad space in our history as far as habit forming for that generation. And that generation has definitely leaked over to my generation, middle-aged males and females that have learned that through their lives. Hopefully, this has been helpful for you as far as like where maybe you learned to overeat in your history without even thinking about it, but where you learned that behavior. And I'm still fighting that today. Like, I feel like if I got leftovers in the refrigerator, I feel like, you know, there's always this urge for me, we got to finish that. We don't want to be wasting things. But then I got to check back into why am I thinking that way? Or even when I have a meal, I don't want to waste something. I don't want things to go to waste. Why am I thinking that way? And it has to go back to, you know, growing up in that era of Clean Plate Club. So if you're doing the Clean Plate Club, please stop doing the Clean Plate Club. There are better ways to do it. There are better ways to teach your kids portion sizes. There are handy things that I have. I have a guide. If you want the guide, just send me a message. I'll give you the handy guide to portion sizes. Pretty simple stuff. You can use it anywhere. You don't need a measuring cup. You just use your hand. So that's it. Take care.